Sunday Oduton, the Chairman, Association of Electricity Distributors, join us now from our Abuja studio. Oh. Sunday, good morning. It's good to have you join us now.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're right. Now, make us understand. We've had times and countless times on the program where we discuss challenges with the power sector, but we're narrowing down now to GENCOs. Now, the GENCOs are saying about 6,000 megawatts is available, and the other companies cannot evacuate due to one reason or the other. Can you make us understand where these differences are?
Well, I've said this many times in the past, that when we're talking about the power sector, everybody needs to understand the value chain. You need to understand that none of us, generation company, transmission company, and distribution companies, none of us can stand alone. And when you talk about the challenges and the problems in the power sector, it is still about naira and kobo. If we shy away from that, we will continue to talk, and not walk the talk. At the end of the day, what the generation companies are saying is not new. What they are saying, essentially, is very much about the challenges that we have down from the upstream to the downstream, beginning from the gas supply end all the way to generation, transmission, and distribution. What I just want to say about the GENCOs again is that I wish they can understand the fact that to solve the problem, all of us need to come together and look at what the issues are. It's not enough to say this is available, that is available. I'm even surprised. Now they are saying 6,000 megawatts is available. The other day, their spokesperson said they have more than that available. But again, for us as DISCOs, we are the one below the value chain. And we believe that the more power we can generate, the more of that we can distribute. But to generate more power, or to transmit more power, or to distribute more power, there's need for more money. So the issue here, like I said, is that of naira and kobo. Unless and until we do what we need to do, one, to take care of the transmission grid and ensure that the transmission is able to wield power from the point of generation to where it is required, then we will have the same problem. So that is what I think. There's nothing new about the 7-point agenda.
All right.
Or the 7-point demand that was made by the GENCOs.
All right, the GENCOs, the first point of the demand is that they want the federal government to stop the National Control Center in collaboration with DISCOs to stop you from demanding, from rejecting power from them. How can you defend this?
There's nothing to defend. This is not about defense. We are not in the art of going back and forth or being on the defensive with anybody. I've said it on this program many times in the past. Number one, I'm a distributor. I have my customers, and I have different classes of customers. I know where I require my power, and if I tell you that this is where I want my power, that's where you're supposed to take the power to. But if you have problem with winning the power to where I need it, you cannot just dump it behind my house where I don't need the power. So that goes to tell you that the issue is about the ability of Transmission Company of Nigeria to whip power to where it is required. There's nothing like collaboration with the DISCOs. You see, we cannot solve this problem if we continue with this blame game. And I think the GENCOs are now doing more of that, which is very unfortunate. One of the reasons why Nigeria has not made progress in the power sector is because those who should know, they either lie to you, members of the public, or they deliberately do say or do something untoward. For instance, only a few weeks ago, the GENCOs were accused of over-invoicing. They have not done anything about that. They have now opened their books to the public for everybody to know what is going on under the table between them and some individuals in embed. So when we keep on doing things that we know are not good, we will continue to go around the same vicious cycle. And unfortunately, the victim will be the Nigerians who have not had light and who may not have light. So for us, we are interested in power supply. And to do that, we need to look at what the issues are. There's nothing like NCC Oshogbo collaborating with the discos. That is a serious misinformation. And we should not be malicious. We should just try our best to solve problems. And I've said it before, I said all of us need to sit down together. It will interest you to know that the discos made attempt to sit down with the Gencos. They frustrated the effort. When we cannot sit down and say, this is where I need what, and these are my own challenges, tell me your own challenges, let us solve the problem. We went to the office in Abuja with some of my CEOs. Only a few of their CEOs showed up. Only the junior ones came to the table. People who could not even take decisions. And they frustrated all attempts and all efforts to make us work together. We want to shy away from coming public to apportion blame or to tell you what is going on behind the curtain. We don't want to do that. We are not interested in naming, blaming, and claiming. We are interested in distribution of electricity to Nigerians. That is the issue.
All right, Sunday, it's good for you to give us the picture of what is going on. But you said everything narrows down to the issue of Naira and Kobo. And for very credible companies like the Gencos and TCN and even Gencos and Discos, why is it until now, why is it so difficult to attract the required finances, the Naira and Kobo that you're talking about?
Thank you very much. It is very difficult because, number one, Nigeria is yet to be made attractive to foreign investors when it comes to the issue of power sector. Don't let anybody lie to you. We do not have many foreign investment in the power sector. One of the reasons is a generic one, and that reason is that these foreigners want to see Nigeria fight corruption head-on. And when you say you are fighting corruption, until some people go to jail, until some things are done openly and we can see the end of series and series of prosecutions, those who are bringing in their money to the system will be afraid. That is the truth. We have liquidity crisis, and I can say, in fairness, that the federal government is doing a lot of work about this problem. But you see, it's one thing for you to plan or to have good intention. It's another thing for you to be able to get it done, and until it is done, we will continue to say it has not been done. So, Naira and Kobo, it begins with the issue of sanctity of contract. A foreign investor wants to see a Nigeria where if they sign a contract, nobody will renege from that contract. The federal government of 2013 reneged completely from the contract that is signed with us as Discos. And I have no doubt that the same thing happened with the Gencos. So you cannot have a system or a country called Nigeria where people don't respect the rule of law, where people play politics with power, where people are more powerful than the law, where the rule of law is below certain level of people, individuals, and institutions. So you cannot have that Naira and Kobo coming from overseas. And the ones that are here, in the case of my own investors who borrowed money and put their money in this business, it has not been a good story so far. So I think we need to, one, sanctity of contract. Number two, we need to look at the issue of Naira and Kobo. A product like this has to be appropriately priced. We should not be political about this. If we know that we cannot pass it, the cost to the end user, then we should work out something else that will cushion the effect of the shortfall. These are the issues. Remember the last time I was there, I spoke to you about the issue of the shortfall. Without being repetitive, let me tell you that until we deal with the issue of Naira and Kobo, there will not be good power supply in Nigeria.
Of course.
We'll continue to talk about the same thing. I was with you, Mike, 2 years ago. I had an interview with you in TVC. Mike, the same problem we spoke about that day on TVC Africa also, one program on Africa.
Yeah.
We still have the same thing today, and this is August 2017. For us as ANED, we believe that we should say the truth to Nigerians. A lot of people don't like that truth, particularly very top civil servants in the power sector.
And talking about the truth at this time, let me quickly ask you, a source said that some discos are engaging in something called systematic power supply. That what they do is supply customers they are sure of getting their money back in terms of electricity bills back almost immediately, and that is the cause of blackouts in most parts of the country. And discos are using this to avoid paying money to Gencos so that they don't get power they won't be able to get revenue from when they supply them.
Well, I don't understand what you mean by the last part of your question, but I will first of all talk about the first part. Number one, I'm a lawyer. The last time I checked, I'm yet to see any law that forbids me as a businessman from taking my product to those who pay for my product. Until we all agree on this, I'm afraid, we will continue to play politics with power. If you don't pay for power supply, I will not take the power supply to your area, to your house, to your estate, to your street, to your neighborhood. That is a simple thing that I don't even think we need to belabor. If you don't pay for the product, why should you have the product? And people want us to be lying. We cannot lie. We believe in transparency and truth. Yes, I can confirm to you that we will not take electricity to those who do not pay us. We will not take electricity to the area where they continuously steal energy. I was in Port Harcourt a few weeks ago. There's an area near Trans-Amadi in Port Harcourt where they indulge completely in stealing energy, where they make it a second profession to be stealing energy. And you want me to supply such people? Forget it. I won't supply them. So that is the truth. And for the issue of saying that we don't want to make revenue, why wouldn't I want to get revenue? For God's sake, if I get power and I distribute it to an area and they pay, I'll be able to meet my own obligation to my own suppliers. But if you want me to make power a social service, a free-for-all, free-of-charge product, I'm sorry, that won't happen. The only way that can happen is for the government to completely renationalize the electricity industry and say, we take it over. And thank God, Yola is now in government hand. Maybe we should start with Yola. Let the federal government ask Yola Electricity Distribution Company to distribute power everywhere, regardless of whether people are paying for it or not. Let us focus on Yola and see what Yola has been able to do in government hand. So that is the truth. So the issue of systematic power supply, I don't know what that one means.
All right, Sunday, time is against us, but let's touch on some of this 7-point demand. One is the issue of redenomination of concession fees. Why is it difficult to redenominate from dollars to naira?
Well, again, that's the matter for the federal government of Nigeria. Let me tell you something that we've said in favor of the Gencos before. We have said it before that we know that the IOCs, the international oil companies, and the federal government has some holding there. Now, those who sell gas to the power sector, to the generation companies, that transaction is calculated in dollar. And they use the prevailing exchange rate to build the generation companies. We ask the question, why can't we do it in naira? Because we collect naira from the downstream through the discos. So the issue of denominating it in naira, well, the Gencos have done well by taking it to the acting president. Because that issue is for the almighty federal government of Nigeria. We should stop deceiving ourselves. We should do what is right for this country if honestly and truly we want power supply. So we as discos, we agree with the Gencos on their demand. when it comes to the issue of denominating that fee in naira. We agree with them completely. It's their issue, but we agree with them.
So if distribution companies in the country get the 100 billion naira subsidy promised by the federal government, are you positive and optimistic that truly power supply will be more effective in the country?
Yes, it will be more effective. But let me tell you that this 100 billion you're talking about was a promise made in 2013. This is 2017, and it has not been done. So when people come to the media, flying figures, or playing politics, or making themselves look so good, we should walk the talk. It is about naira and kobo. I can assure you that for every single amount of money injected into the power sector, that will improve power supply in Nigeria. That's what you need to know. It will improve it. But let us see the funding first.
All right. Thank you very much for your analysis. Sunday Oduto, you're the chairman of the Association of Electricity Distribution Companies. Thank you for your time on the show.